Hello again, Paul from Tropical Treasure, Epicactus. Just going to make up some potting mix today, so I thought we'll just run through what we've got in it. So we've got three ingredients. One is a fairly fine mix of orchid mix. So we'll bring that up close so you can see that that is lots of fine vegetative material. Second is a quality potting mix, which I've used. And the third is perlite, which is a fairly coarse mix. Now, a couple of precautionary things. First of all, preferably wear gloves when making up potting mix, because you don't know what's in the potting mix that you've been buying from the supermarket or from the Bunnings or hardware store. In these mixes, people have died from having cuts on their hands and contracting bacterial infections into their bloodstream. So be aware, you don't know what's in the potting mix. So wear gloves if you can when handling it. Second thing is, this is dusty. It's a known carcinogen as well if you inhale it, so you really don't want to do that. So when you're mixing this up, use a mask. And I almost forgot, fourth ingredient which I use in my potting mix, only sparingly, but you can see there, a nice can of mouldy coffee grounds. Now, are they good or bad for the garden? Coffee grounds are high in nitrogen. These little pieces, which you can see, have a lot of green mould on them. People think, oh, I don't want mould in my epicacti, but the reality is that it's not bad for your epicactus. The mould is really just, the green mould is trichoderma. The blue-green mould is aspergillus or penicillium, both of which are moderately good for the garden anyway. So you can mix up some of that into your potting mix. Just make sure that you don't use too much. And the reason I say that is because it's a fairly fine product. So you want your potting mix to be free draining. So you want the water to be able to flow through it readily. And the last thing you want to do is to have too many fine-grained particles in it. So probably no more than 5% overall of your mix would be anything else. Some people like to throw in some charcoal. It's all good. Almost forgot, you can see the dust rising there. So I'll just put my mask on. And away we go. So just mix that up pretty readily. I don't really introduce water into it. And the reason is because the potting mix is already damp enough. So probably do it with some goggles too. You can always find that you're getting some dust in the eyes from these materials, so probably wouldn't hurt either. So we give that a really good mix. So it's pretty even. There we go. All right, that's not looking too bad. So once that's done, you can see there that it's a nice free draining mix of orchid mix or orchid potting mix, along with some premium grade potting mix, which has got some slow release fertilizer in it. And thirdly, of course, the perlite, which is a white, it's actually volcanic glass, if you like. Very lightweight, porous, the water just drains straight through it. So now that that's done, we're now ready to pot up some cuttings. So just to see the process that we do, I fill this about halfway, put in the cutting. Cuttings always have the name on them in permanent marker, so that way I know exactly what it is. Pop that in there. There we go. First one done. Usually, because when I'm fertilizing, I end up knocking a few cuttings off the plants. If I do, I usually just make a cutting, turn it into a rooted cutting over time, so don't put it in upside down, Paul. And you can see, don't press down on the mix because otherwise you'll compact it. And the whole point of doing this is so that you're creating a free draining potting mix. So I probably put that much of the cutting in the mix. And the important part about this now is do not water it. Do not water the cutting. That will now stay in that potting mix for about 3 to 4 weeks. And after that, what I'll do is give it a gentle tug and see if it will come out. If it comes out, it hasn't developed roots. What I want it to do is develop roots. So if it hasn't developed roots, I'll leave it as it is until it does develop roots. Once you start to tug it and you can feel resistance, then you can start to water it. But only water it, what can I say, sparingly. Don't overwater it, or you can end up causing root rot. So there we are. I hope that's been helpful, making up potting mix. It's all fun, and I shall look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye for now.